Hello and welcome to week 19. That's week 19. We're coming closer towards the end, meaning, as I said, there are 28 weeks of this program. So once we're done with the 19th week, that leaves around 9 more videos left, right? So 9 more videos, 9 more sets of practices, and once you've done that, then more or less you are able to do quite a few asanas in the Iyengar Yoga level 1 syllabus. And then it's a question of simply reinforcing that practice regularly so that you develop every day. And this is a lifetime process of practice and development that continues. So what seems like a simple standing pose or a seated pose, as you keep practicing over the years, has many depths and nuances which you will begin to appreciate as you deepen your practice. So on that note, let us begin. Sit comfortably. Place your hands close to the sides of the body. Press your fingertips down. As you press your fingertips down, lift the side chest, take the outer shoulders back, bringing your outer upper arms in. As you bring your outer upper arms in, lift the front armpit chest, roll the outer shoulders back, move the shoulder blades in, again lifting from the center of the sternum up, maintaining the lift and length of your spine. Keeping the thighs pressing down, bring the palms of the hand and let it rest at the center of your chest. Extend all the 4 fingers in the direction of the screen. At the same time, take your thumb deeper into the sternum and lift from the base of the sternum up. Once more, take your mind to the shoulders, move the shoulders down to the elbows, spreading your collarbones and sitting upright. Now softly begin to close your eyes. Become more aware of the breath, maintaining this lift and length of the spine. Settle your awareness, your attention, feeling deeper into the body. Then together we are going to do 3 Oms and, of course, the invocation. So take a long, slow, deep inhalation. Yogena chitasya padena vacham balam sharirasya chavaidakena yopa karotam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi abahu purushakaram shankachakra siddharinam Sahasra Shirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Hari Om. Take another deep, slow, long inhale and exhale. Gently lower your head down. Release the hands, placing them back on your legs. Lift your head up and open your eyes. Okay, so as always, let's come up, starting our sequence with Samasthiti, the upright standing pose or Tarasan. So position yourself on the center of your mat. Bring your big toes close together, and that signifies moving the right side, the left side of the body closer towards the midline. Distribute the weight of your body evenly into the feet. So press your inner heel, outer heel. Take your attention to the big toes, lengthen the big toes forward. and shift the weight to the heels. Focus your attention on the outer legs, bringing them closer towards the inner thighs and moving the inner thighs back, lifting the inner knees up. Take your attention to the outer shoulders, move the shoulders down, stretch your arms, look straight, observing the breath. Couple of breaths here, normal soft inhale and exhale. Maintaining this, let's go for Urdhva Hastasana. Again, keep the compactness of the legs, the hips. Stretch your arms straight in front of you. Spread through the palms of the hand, bringing your outer upper arms in. With an inhalation, go ahead and stretch your arms up. So I just shift a little bit back so you can observe my fingers as well. So when we stand tall, you definitely bring your outer upper arms in. At the same time, whenever you see your elbows are bending, you need to stretch that inner forearm. Stretch your wrist, have a quick look to see if your hands are kind of turning away. So really make that effort to roll that outer upper arm forward, inner shoulder back. Maintain this, outer upper arms in, and lift the sides of the chest long. It's the outer armpit that we have to lift higher, but keep moving the inner shoulder down. So lift up, stretch up, drawing the inner shoulders down. Bringing the upper arms in, try to straighten your elbow joints, straighten and lift up, stretch up, lift the sides of the body up. Make your abdominal band long. The more you lift your arms, the more there's a lift from the base of the spine. Go back to the feet, bring your big toes close, outer hips in, moving the inner thighs back, lifting the inner knees. Now release, bring your hands down. Right thumb goes on top of the left, interlace the hands, turning the palms out. Take your mind to the center of your palm, really stretching the center, get the thumbs to touch. Again, bringing our outer elbows in, spreading through the palms of the hand. With an inhalation, go ahead and stretch your arms. Once more, your outer upper arm comes in, stretch your inner forearm, move the wrists out away from each other. Don't let them go in, and lift the outer side, the outer shoulders, outer armpits up. At the same time, you have to be kind of focused not to let the outer shoulders roll out. Roll that outer deltoid in and move it in. So the outer sides of your shoulders stay firm. Lift and lengthen up. Looking forward, if you have the openness of the shoulders, see if you can take your upper arms back, but not by pushing your abdomen forward. You draw the abdomen back, buttocks in, and lift and lengthen the spine up. Bring your hands down. Change the clasp of the hands, so your left thumb comes on top. You interlace again, turn the palms out, spread through the palms of the hand, and keeping the spreading of the palms, bringing the outer elbows in. With an inhalation, go ahead and stretch your arms up. Again, when you stretch your arms up, you want to get that outer upper arm in. You want to move the wrists out, stretch your inner forearms, stretch the sides of the body, lengthen both sides of the waistline. And then maintaining the grip, move the arms back, lift up. At the same time, shift your weight to the heels, press down, thighs back, outer hips in, outer thighs in. Now slowly release and bring your hands down. Gomukhasana. So again, I'm just going to stay a little bit back so you can observe both my right arm and my left arm. Take your right arm up. Don't let the outer shoulder roll out. Keep it in. Lengthen the right upper arm. Take your arm back as far as you can. So if you're here, you see I'm taking my arm back, but not by pushing forward, right? So we have to keep our thighs back, our ribs back, and work that arm back as much as possible. Then you bend your arm, and then you take the left arm from below, sliding the hand up, clasping. Remember to take a belt if you cannot hold, and stretch the armpit back, look straight, take the outer shoulders back, moving from the shoulders down to the elbows. Again, big toes connected, inner thighs back, spreading the back of the thighs, looking straight. Now release the other arm. So go ahead and lift your left arm up. Take your attention to the left outer armpit, lift it up. Keep the upper arm muscle, this part in. So that helps you to connect. You notice how when this is going out, this is collapsing. There's a shortening that's happening. But if I hug this in, the bicep becomes long, the inner elbow becomes long, and then you can pull up and maintaining this, taking the arm back, bend at the elbow. You can crawl your hands back as much as possible. When you swing your right hand from below, again, clasping the hands as much as possible. You can use a belt and don't throw your arm out, yeah? Because now you see I'm kind of twisting out. The action of Gomukhasana, rolling the outer deltoids in, stretching the upper arm, moving the shoulder blades in, and looking straight. And even if you start out and you find that you're quite limited in the shoulders at the beginning, and say you're here, as you keep working regularly, definitely you have more mobility in the shoulders and therefore less tension around your neck region, and therefore we have to keep the mobility of the shoulders. Now release, take the hands down, and now we are going to do Paschima Baddha Hastasana. You know this pose. So I just come a little bit forward. Now you can observe the outer upper arm here has to move in. Yeah, so when it moves in, the shoulders move in, the shoulder blades and the back also move in. When they roll forward like this, the shoulder blades are separating away from the back. So I bring the outer upper arms in, I bring the upper arms in as close as I can, and then I hold. And it's usually the way the shoulder blades separate out, so there's a stiffness in the back. So you can broaden so that you can work on moving the arms in over time. And remember to make the arms go down, because it's a movement of the trapezius learning to go down. Focus your attention on the front armpit, lift it up and create a outer shoulders back and moving the upper arms down. Now release. Let's switch the grip. Again, bringing the upper arms closer. Let's hold once more the other way. Swapping, rolling the outer shoulders down, pulling the biceps long, drawing the shoulders down, looking straight. The area here, this neck, let it not roll forward. The muscle goes back. The side chest lifts up. So it's a kind of coiling action from here. Back armpit forward, front armpit up, shoulders down, shoulders back, moving the shoulder blades in, keeping your weight on the heels. Now release, take your hands down. These are all good to just get the shoulders to become more mobile before we start our practice. Good warm-ups. You can even do it on the rest of the day. You don't need to kind of say this is your practice. You might just do a few of the shoulder movements during your day to free up the tension which gathers around the neck area. Next, we go for Paschima Baddha Namaskarasana. So Namaskarasana is here, and Paschima meaning the reverse or the back part of the body. That's the Paschima part. And so you take your hands back and you bring the palms of the hand together. Again, rotating this upper arm, bringing the back armpit forward. So when you press your hands, you move from the elbows into the forearms. You take the outer shoulders back, create a rotation of the upper arm from the inside, and bring your hands closer. If you find you can slide your hands a little bit higher up without closing the chest, you can do that. So again, shoulders back, elbows to the palms, and rolling the outer shoulders, pulling the shoulders down towards the elbows, opening the chest, moving that part of the back which is very tight for most of us, creating mobility here, moving the dorsal in, keeping the abdomen back, thighs back, buttocks in, looking straight, moving that chest forward. Yeah, chest sinking, moving the dorsal in. Now release and bring your hands down. Let's go for Marichyasana. We start by reaching, you can always use the wall. I'll do one version with the wall. So if you want a wall for support, you can put your back against the wall and you can start, actually, let's start by lifting our hands up. So I place my hands against the wall, so I have a little bit of support. I can move my buttocks away, and then I lift my right foot up. I can use my hand to support, press the foot into the thigh. And then supposing you're losing your balance, you can work on this. You can touch your thumb against the wall. You get the outer deltoids in. You move your left hip in, move your right knee down, and keep the chest facing forward. You'll notice how the hips move in this way, right? So you have to learn to bring your right buttock forward, the right knee down and back, and not being on the outer edge of your left heel. Bring the shin bone in, hips in, and now I really have to work, right? So this is how we get stronger in the pose. It's good sometimes to work with the wall. Even though you're not balancing, you're actually getting stronger in a different way. Now release. And then you can continue to the left side on the wall. If you're planning to do it free, then I show you the other way as well. You can first start by reaching your arms up. So you get a big lift. We've been working on Urdhva Hastasana all this while, so it's nice to do that, right? So I maintain the lift, and then without disturbing, keep lifting and stretching up, and see if you can bring your left foot up. If your foot is slipping, which it often does, remember to press your heel. First of all, your toes have to point down. You press your heel into the thigh into the foot. If you find your body is tilting, you have to roll that deltoid. We worked on the pose. Stretch that armpit, stretch both sides long. Keep your eyes focused. That really helps in the balance. As you move the left knee down, the left knee back, but don't let the left waistline go back. Turn from the left hip to the right, left armpit to the right, and reach up, stretch up. If you want to work harder, you can also work on bringing your arms closer and closer. Touch the palms, lift up, elbows straight. Now release, bring your hands down, bring your feet down, come back. Take a moment to stand again. Standing in Samasthiti, big toes connect, shoulders back, elbows straight. Well, it's probably by now you kind of understanding the sequence. You did some warm-ups with the shoulders, and we move directly into some standing poses. Let's start with Utthita Trikonasana. Bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. Take the right distant, Utthita Hastasana, this is the one. And then Parshva Hastasana, that means you turn your right leg out, keep your left foot firm, press into the outer edge, lift your inner leg, lift your inner knee, keep the left outer hip back and in. Maintaining that stability, elongate the whole right side of your torso. Reach with that right armpit chest. Keep turning from the right to the left. Drop your arm down. When you take your arm on top, again, you want to not let the chest sink. That's why you have to press your right big toe. Take your attention to the outer edge of your left heel from the left hip, keeping it in. Press down, revolve from your right hip to the left, right side of the chest to the left as you reach your left upper arm up. Your hand has to go down only so that your chest faces forward. Your abdomen, both sides stay long, and you use the top left arm to lift the left side of the chest up. Keep your left triceps firm, head straight. Your head is moving this direction, and your hips are moving in the opposite direction. So then that's how we can go down more, but turning the chest and keeping the chest lifted. You can even turn your head if you don't have any dizziness and look up. Keep your left heel firm. Now inhale and come up. Turn your toes in again. See that your feet are pointing straight. Readjust to see your feet are in line. Spread and open the chest, upper arms tight, forearms pressing down. Turn your left leg out from the root of the legs. Don't collapse your left hip. Keep the left hip up, roll that right buttock down. Keep your left thigh pulling into the hip, yeah? So this is the collapsed leg. We have to draw the muscles up into the hip, moving the frontal thigh back, hip lifting. Now maintain the lift of the hip, strongly pressing into the outer edge of your right heel. Elongate the torso as you go down. When you take your hand down, You have to see that you're not curving your spine. So lengthen your whole left waistline, left armpit chest away. Bring that left outer shoulder forward. You can pause for a moment and really get that left buttock in. Revolve from the left waistline to the right. Revolve from the left armpit to the right. Then when you reach your arms up, again, the right side of the chest is not falling. It is lifting up. Use the arm to lift up. Once more, the head is going in the opposite direction of the pelvis. The head goes here. The sacrum, the buttocks move in the opposite direction. Once you've got the support, if you're fine, your chest has turned adequately, you can turn your head and gaze at your thumb. Keep your triceps tight. Press the outer edge of your right heel. Now inhale and come up. Turn your toes in. Walk your feet slightly in. Jump and come back to the center. Once more, coming back to Samasthiti, joining the big toes, taking your outer shoulders back, stretching your biceps long, your forearms long, spread through the palms of the hand, pulling the shoulders down, moving the shoulder blades into the back. Observing the breath, normal soft inhale and exhale. Uttita Parshvakonasana. So you can bring your blocks. I'll bring 2 blocks. It's nicer to have the support. Then that way you know how to position your blocks if you're using them or even if you're not, right? So you can always keep them close. Stand with your feet together again. Bring your hands in the center. Bend your knees. Spread. Jump your legs out. Have a good distance. Spread from the center of the chest. Turn your right leg out. Stamp the outer edge of your left foot. Draw the left thigh into the hip. And then bend your front leg. As you bend down, go down, get that front leg to a 90-degree angle. At the same time, see that your thigh is not rolling forward. This is a tendency for most of us. You have to draw that thigh into the hip, roll it back and stamp the outer edge. Then from there going down, elongate the whole right waistline. Let your armpit go down, chest go down. You adjust your hand as needed on the block or on the floor. I placed my hand a little bit on the block. Now move your inner knee to the outer knee. Draw the knee into the hip, lowering your left hip to revolve from the right hip to the left. As you lengthen the right waistline, you can revolve your chest. Take your shoulder back and then keeping the rotation of the upper arm, stretch your arm across. You want to create a straight line from the fingers down to that back leg. So don't hike your hip up. Yes, elongation. Lengthen both sides of the torso. Turn from the right hip to the left, right side of the shoulder to the left. Bring your upper arm closer to the head and the head up so there is an extension of the spine. Be strong on the outer edge of the foot. Don't collapse your inner leg. Thigh back, knee back. Now stretch your arm, lift and come up. Turn your toes in. Once more. Toes pointing straight. Relax your hands for a moment. See that your feet are in line, so I readjust my feet as well. Taking a couple of breaths, and then we go to the other side. So spread your arms out from the center, stretching your arms, forearms down, upper arms tight, spreading the chest, turning your left leg out, turning the whole thigh. So if your leg is dropping, it's usually because the connection is not clear. So you have to really feel that the outer left thigh moves in. So the hip lifts. Pull up the thigh into the hip socket. Roll from that inner knee to outer knee. And we have to kind of keep that as we bend. So don't let your knee go out. Pull it into the hip. Maintain that stability. Also bringing that right outer hip in as you go down. So that way your hips remain compacted. And then you have to lengthen that, creating that strength and stability of the pelvis as you go down. Then you bring your hand on the block. You can bring your right hand on the hip. If your hip is rising, you have to draw that outer thigh bone in and move it back so that this gives you the support to move your left knee back, lengthening the left side of the torso, moving the left buttock away and revolve your chest. Taking your right shoulder back, keep your head moving in that direction and buttocks moving in the opposite. Create space and then rotate your upper arm as you take your hand up. You can hug the arm, outer arm in, lifting your head, revolving the whole chest. Once you've turned, knee back, you can also look up at your inner elbow, but don't drop your head. See that the weight is on the heel of your left leg, not going towards the toes. Try to make your right heel press down more, the outer edge of your right heel. Now use the top arm, inhale and come up. Turn your toes in. Once more, jump and come back to standing. Stand with your feet together, shoulders back, elbows straight, Utthita Parshva Konasana. Come back to Samasthiti, Virabhadrasana 1. Bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. Roll the upper arms with an inhalation, go up. Again, hugging the outer upper arms in. Stretch your upper arm long, extend your inner forearm, lift the abdomen, lift the chest. Turning yourself to the right side. So first turn your left foot in. Remember the foot has to turn much more. At the same time, keep the compactness of the hip. Turn your left knee, left thigh, left foot, gripping the outer hips. Revolve from the back of your left inner thigh without letting the hip fall forward. Be strong on the outer edge of the leg. Revolve the waistline from the left to the right, taking your right hip back, right shoulder back. Lengthen both sides of the arms. Take your upper arms back behind your head and go down from the pelvis. Adjust your leg if you cannot bend your front leg, but don't lose the left heel. Press into the outer edge of the left heel, go down from the hip. Again, the movement is back of the thigh, which helps you to turn that hip forward, but resist. As you see, I'm resisting and still going down. Then maintaining this, turn your chest, turn your abdomen, reach up, upper arms back, moving that back ribs in and going down. Now inhale and come up. Turn yourself forward. Toes pointing straight again, lining up. Again, rolling the inner upper arms in. Stretch the forearms, stretch the sides of the body, turning to the left. So turn your right foot in. See that the foot is firm. Your shin bone is back, your thigh bone is back. Spreading from the back of your thigh, turn your left leg. Try to really revolve the back of your thigh, turning your chest, turning your abdomen. There is a rotation here without dropping the thigh bone forward. The tarasana of the leg has to remain. Now, take your upper arms long, move them behind your ears, stretch up, and maintaining the upright torso, bend your front leg. Create a 90 degree with the front leg. At the same time, turn from the right hip to the left, right armpit to the left. Remember, take your left shoulder back, left hip back, and go down from the hip. Be firm on the right shin bone. Lift it, press it, and turn again. Upper arms back. Now inhale and come up. Turn your face to forward, turn your toes in, and jump back and come back to standing. We are going to do Virabhadrasana 3. So first we are going to the right side. Now just because it is easier for me and that way I don't crash into the wall, I'm going to turn myself around so that way you can, see how the back of the body works, the front of the body works, and it's also easier. So we are moving in one direction. So I turn my back to you and we are going to the right side. So you bring your hands in the center, bend your knees and jump and spread your legs out. Again, so you rotate your upper arm and you create this rotation as you lift and lengthen the side chest up. So maintain the rotation, lifting up, stretching up. Now go ahead and turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out completely, and then turn your pelvis, turn your chest. Yeah, so once you've turned the chest, Then you're going to bend your front leg, which you did before. Now you have to go a little bit forward, right? So we lower down. Now revolve that back leg so that you can create a support here. Now here again, it's a good strength building exercise to stay here. But if you're coming forward, you have to walk that back leg in, lower your chest down, keep looking forward, reaching with the elbows up, and then start to lift your back leg up. So that will straighten your standing leg, your arms stretch. You see that you roll the back thigh, tighten your thigh, and stretch the back leg. Keep your hips compacted and stretch through the arms, going down and stretching. Now throw that leg back, reach up, turn around, and jump and come back. Now pause for a few moments. Again, big toes connect, taking your shoulders back, elbows straight, observing the breath, normal inhale and exhale. So we're going to the left side. Once more, bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. Roll the upper arms, lift up, stretch both sides of the arms. Turn your left leg out, turn your right foot in, keep the back leg firm, turning from the abdomen, turning from the chest. Reach with the upper arms, lift up, keep your outer upper arms firm. Now begin to bend your left leg. As you bend your left leg, remember we take our chest forward, but keep this extension. Your arms are going forward, your hip is pulling back. But we walk the legs forward. Keep reaching forward, it really helps. You can even stay here for a moment to get your balance. And then lift the leg up, keep reaching forward, outer upper arms in, extending the back leg, tightening the thigh, making sure your hips are level as you extend. Extend through the heel, you can point the toe of the back leg. Now take the back leg down, come into Virabhadrasana 1 and come up, jump and come back to the center. Once more, settling yourself back, coming into Uttanasana, taking the outer shoulders back, reaching the outer upper arms down, spreading through the palms of the hand, bringing your big toes close, outer hips in, observing the breath, soft, smooth inhale and exhale. Next, we go for Parivrtta Trikonasana. So, once more, bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. We're first turning to the right. So you turn your right leg, turn your left foot. See that the foot is turned. The left shin bone stays back towards the calf muscle. The thigh stays back. Again, this is a rotation. As you turn your armpit chest. Resist your arm, but turn the chest. So the back ribs move in. Otherwise, we are a little rounded like this when we go down. Our head back. Lift from the abdomen to the chest. Keeping the back leg firm. Go forward with the chest and then bring your hands down. You can keep your hands on the inside or you can take your arm on the outside if you're able to. At the same time, move the right outer hip in. See that the left inner thigh is lifting. Revolve the chest, turning, moving the ribs down. It's the abdominal band that has to turn. The ribs have to turn. And the top arm has to lift the right side of the chest up. Head is going towards the wall. The buttocks are moving away. So the spine stays long. Press into the outer edge of your left heel. Look forward. Reach with the arms and come up. Relax your hands for a moment. Let's walk the feet in. Yeah, so take a short break. Parivrtta is definitely a bit more challenging. Settle your breath. See that the big toes connect. Bring your outer hips in. Shoulders back. Elbows straight. Palms straight. Now let's do Parivrtta on the left side. So bring your hands in, jump and spread your legs out. Stretch your left arm, your right arm, press into the outer edges of the heels. Now let's start by turning our right foot in. See that the right thigh stays in. Turn your left knee, left thigh, left foot. Start to revolve your abdomen, revolve the chest. Start taking your right arm now down as far as you can go. Use the block if necessary or hands on the chair. Once you've got the connection, both legs have to be straight. Your left hip keeps going back. Your right hip shouldn't drop too much. Keep the hip up. So the sacrum stays nice and even, right? You can see how I drop my hip. So then I'm turning from here. Whereas we really have to see this stays back, back. And most of our work is learning to turn the ribs. So the sacrum stays quite steady, moving back. I place my hand here so I don't drop this. And then I try to turn my abdomen, turn my chest. Then I maintain the stability as I lift the top arm up. Look forward so you can move your back rib in. And then if you're able to, look straight in the direction that your chest is facing. Again, lifting the back leg, tucking the outer hip in, elongating the torso. Reach with the top arm. Now look forward, strongly pressing into the back leg. Inhale and come up. Now turn your toes in, jump and come back to standing. Once more, we are standing in Tadasana, taking the outer shoulders back, bringing our upper arms in, closer towards the spine, closer towards the sides of the chest, and extending the elbows down. Observe the breath, soft, smooth inhale and exhale. Now we are going to go for Parivrtta Paschimottanasana from Vimanasana. Yeah, so here we have to go down, bend the leg and create the connection of the arms. So once more, I am going to actually turn my back. But no, let's just keep it this way. Yeah, so it's easier. So we face each other, so we don't turn away from each other. Bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. Stretch your arms out from the center of the chest. Turn your right leg out. Turn your left foot in. So press the outer edge. Remember to turn your left foot enough because you do have to keep this thigh tight and it helps you to turn the pelvis, turn the chest. Once you've turned, go ahead and bend your leg. So again, we are lowering our hips down, going down, keeping the leg firm. Now take your left arm and you have to lengthen the left side of the body. Bring your right knee a little bit into the midline so that you can really move that armpit down close. Yeah. So make a good contact here. You're moving the knee in. Don't lift your hips. Still lower your hips and hook the armpit as much as you can. Once you're here, you can place your hand on your sacrum again. So you level it down, keep the back leg firm. And now maintaining this leverage, see if you can move this right inner knee back. And that takes the ribs in this part. So back leg firm, hips going down, moving the knee back, lining up with the outer hip, and then reach the top arm up. So the upper arm also stays firm, lengthening as we go down. If your hand can touch, you can use your hand. And now bring your hand back on the hip, look forward, see if you can come back from Vimanasana and up. Turn yourself around, toes pointing straight, jump and come back to standing. Yeah, so take a couple of breaths. Definitely one of the most challenging of the standing poses, I feel. That is Parivrtta Paschimottanasana. Parivrtta means the twist, moving in the opposite direction. And Paschimottanasana we do, but it's like learning to twist the spine and still stretch equally, which is of course very challenging. But that's what we are here to do.
to progressively work ourselves up from a more simpler version of standing poses to more complex movements. So let's begin. Here, so much is being used. You're expected to turn, keep your hips compact, maintain the balance. So if you find yourself falling out of the pose, don't worry. Yeah, just keep practicing. Let's come back to the center again. Bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out, stretch your arms out. Now turn your left leg out, turning from the knee. Press your left big toe, turn your right foot in. See that your outer hips stay into the body, so there's a firmness, but also move the inner thighs back. Don't push them forward, yeah? So inner thighs back, outer hips in, maintaining that strong connection. Revolve your pelvis, revolve your chest, bend your front leg to Vimanasana. Go down from the pelvis, resist the shin. Now keep this down, reach, lengthen the whole right armpit. Bring your left knee a little bit in so you can cut across. So your armpit goes. Now you also have to turn, remember the pelvis, but don't turn from the hip so much. Keep the hip level, turn your abdomen, use the leverage of the arm. So I really go down, I lower, I place my hand down. Now move this knee into the arm towards the wall direction. So this gets moved. Again, I keep the back leg lifting. So this stays level and I turn. Then keeping the back leg firm, I reach the arm up. Lift from the chest, stretch through the arm, lowering your hips without letting the hips sink. Knee goes back, down, chest turns. Now look forward, come up. I didn't actually bend, sorry. Bending, come up, let's build the strength, and then up, toes turn in, jump, phew, and come back to standing. Okay, outer shoulders back. Definitely my breath has gone up a little bit doing this pose because it is a bit more challenging than some of the other standing poses. But so let's take a pause, press evenly into the bottom of the feet, lifting the armpits, rolling the shoulders back, drawing the shoulder blades into the back. Keep both sides of your neck long. Outer hips in, inner thighs back, spreading the back of the thighs, bringing your lower legs closer and closer, but moving them back. Evenly press through the bottom of the feet, the right foot, the left foot. Observe the breath. Normal soft inhale and exhale. Next, we go for Paschimottanasana. So again, this starts off with the movement of our torso going downward, right? So that is also there. So from here, we are going to go for Paschimottanasana. So bring your hands in the center, bend your knees and jump up. You can take your hands back here and you can be in this position. Or if you're able to do Paschima Namaskarasana, you can take your hands back. So I leave it to you. And if you're very tight in the hips, you can also keep this back. The main reason, don't round your back, lift up, shoulders back. Paschim Namaskarasana, for those of you who can. We've done this at the beginning of the class. Shoulders back, moving the elbows down, moving the elbows in the direction of the hand. Press your hands evenly. Now maintaining this connection, turn to your right side, turn your right leg, turn your left foot. All these rotations we've been doing. Head back, lift from the pubic bone up, chest forward, right? So this is me leaning back. This is very different from you going up, legs firm, tailbone in, chest up. Now keeping your head back, moving that dorsal in, we worked this pose, go down, keep looking forward. Now strongly press your right big toe, see that your left inner thigh is lifted, revolve the back of the chest, turn from the left hip to the right and go down. Keep looking forward, let your head go down finally, but shoulders up, move your elbows into the hands, spread the palms of your hand, keep your left heel firm, press strongly into the inner edge of your right heel. Don't hang on the outer edge of your right heel. Keep your left knee firm. Now inhale, looking forward, come up. Turn yourself around. Resetting your feet. See that your toes are in line again. Press the palms of the hand. Taking the back armpit forward, front armpit back, lifting it up, drawing the shoulders down the back, pressing the forearms into the palms, the elbows into the palms. You feel the difference. And now keeping this connection, turning yourself to the left. So turn your left leg, left knee out. Turn your right foot in. You have to turn it so it allows the hip to turn. At the same time, don't have your left hip forward. You have to almost pull that left outer hip back. Yeah, so that's what gets you to turn. Move that left outer hip back, right inner thigh back, and maintaining this right inner thigh, left outer hip, go forward. Lengthen the abdomen, lengthen the chest. Keep your left outer hip back, right inner thigh back as you go forward. Now try to turn your torso. Press strongly into that left big toe, keeping the weight on the inside of your foot, legs straight, turning your abdomen, go down from the chest. Even though you drop your head, remember, don't droop your shoulders. Shoulders back, back armpit forward. Press the elbows into the palms, knees straight. Now pressing into the legs, inhale and come up. Turn your toes in, Paschimottanasana, with hands in namaskarasana. Relax the hands for a while. Roll the palms so your wrists can get a relief. And then bring your hands and jump back. Next we go for Prasarita-Padottanasana. So stand, maybe using the back edge of your mat as a line. Bring your hands in. Jump and spread your legs out. Stamp the outer edges of the feet. Spread your arms out from the center of the chest. Lengthening both sides of the chest. Keeping the weight on the outer edges of the feet. Lift the inner knees. Lift the inner thighs. And go forward, elongating the torso. Then bring your hands just underneath the shoulders. Don't round your back. You roll the back armpit forward. Rolling here. This takes this outer shoulder back. Bring your outer upper arms in. Resist. Resist the forearms. And then when you go down, you can walk your hands in line with your feet, if it's possible. Evenly press your hands. Slice the outer edges of your feet. Bring your outer upper arms in to the body. Allow the crown of the head to go down. However, go more to the back crown of your head. You can bring your hands more in line with your feet if that's possible. As long as your legs are straight, as long as your knees are lifting, thighs are lifting into the hip socket. Then let the crown of the head go down, outer upper arms in. Press into the legs, lengthen downward. Let your head go down if it's possible. Don't force it, but your legs have to be firm and straight. So keep drawing the thighs into the hip. Spreading the hands, outer elbows in. Lift your shoulders and go down with the crown of the head. Legs straight. Slice the outer edges of the feet. Lift the inner ankles. Lift the shoulders. Prasarita-Padottanasana. Here the head begins to become more conscious of, letting your head go down. Your body gets used to certain movements. Usually so much the kind of rushing of the blood to the head can be unpleasant. But if you see, we progressively moved so that now when our head is down, we are able to be more calm and it's not a completely new feeling. And that's what sequential learning is very vital. We just don't rush into doing the complex poses. We have to give our body time to register the movements, to get used to it. And that way, slowly, steadily, your practice will develop. So there's no hurry. Now pressing the hands, lift your head up, Walk your hands forward, spread, lift the chest. If you are unable to come up, you can always bring your feet a little closer, otherwise stamping into the legs, drawing the thighs into the hip socket, stamping, come up with your legs. Now walk your feet in and jump and come back to the center. Once more standing here, couple of breaths, shoulders back, upper arms long, elbows long. Now that we have done Prasarita, we continue with our head going down. Yeah, so you are preparing our body. If you notice in the sequence, our head was upright. It turned here, turned there. Now we are teaching our head to go down, use the strength of the legs back, because by now we've conditioned our legs to lift up. If the legs are loose and we are down, it's a collapsing body. So that's why this standing poses. You might be thinking, oh, we are repeating these poses over and over again. I mean, teach me something new, right? That's what most people want to hear. But the truth is, if you don't make your legs firm, your spine will not lift, your head will not be carried in the right way, right? So you have to persevere, reinforce, and become stronger in the standing poses before you jump ahead to do more complex poses. That's why Gita Ji has prescribed a weekly sequential practice, because that's what makes you develop. Otherwise, it's too much of an overload for the nervous system to begin with, and you don't really understand, and then that way you don't get the complete benefit of Iyengar Yoga. So though it is slow, though it is steady, and perhaps a bit boring in the repetition, it is the better way of building a strong practice that will last you a lifetime. Okay, so now let's go for Uttanasana. So separate out your feet. You can keep your weight heavy on the heels. Spread the back of your thighs. Move the inner thighs back, outer hips in, lifting the chest, and go forward. You can use your arms if you want. You can elongate your arms like you did in Virabhadrasana. 3, keep reaching, reaching, reaching till you can go down, elongating your torso. Then you can bring your hands here underneath the shoulders. Again, the back armpit here goes forward, the outer shoulders go in. Move this in, yeah, so that makes your arms firm, because then the arms are helping you to lift the shoulders. Press your legs, roll the buttocks over the thighs. Try to see if you can stretch from the sitting bones up, but calf muscle down. Keep your knees straight, look forward, maintain the length of the abdomen. Don't be in a rush to round your back, because we round it all the time. So lengthen the abdomen, lengthen, moving the kidneys in, back ribs in as you go down. You can hold your ankles. Then finally, when you drop your head, like in Prasarita, don't close in. Yeah, so we lose everything we've been doing. This remains tight. So again, elongate, armpit chest long, root of the thighs back. You can stretch more to elongate your spine. Let the crown of your head go down. Pull up your quadriceps, your thigh muscles up to the hip. Allow the body weight to slightly shift towards the toes, but strongly push the front of the thighs to the back of the thighs. Hold the legs strongly with your arms and move the belly in, the chest in, and then finally the head goes down. Uttanasana. Exhale. Keep pulling the thighs up, lifting the sitting bones up, letting the head go down. Knees straight. Now look up. Next, we are going to do Baddhanguliyasana. So you take your first 2 fingers, or you grab the first 2 fingers with your belt. Again, press the big toe down, lift your spine up, roll your upper arms, drawing the shoulder blades in, pressing your big toes, stretch from the abdomen forward, side chest forward, moving that dorsal in more and more, moving the sitting bones above your heels, and then first looking up, maintaining that. Then if you can maintain the back ribs in, you go down. Let the crown of your head go down, move the back body in, the back ribs in, pull up your thighs, stretch your armpits. Again, lift your inner knees, outer hips in, back ribs in. Let your head release. Lift the shoulders. When you fall forward, this helps you to kind of really use your legs. So if I stay back, I'm still not really on my legs. So I try to hold so I can lengthen and move forward with my sitting bones, but strongly press your knees, the front of the knees to the back of the knees. And that way you get stronger on the legs and you can lengthen. Now inhale, come up, arms straight, chin up, bring your hands on the hips. Don't just throw your buttocks back. Keep the thighs moving back and use the legs, pulling the thighs up to the hip as you come up into an upright standing pose. Okay, so now I think we are done with going forward. Now we are going to go for Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Again, if you notice the sequence, now Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, the head is down, the hips are up. We've already prepared the head. We did Prasarita Padottanasana, we did Uttanasana, then we also did a lot of Baddhanguliyasana, where we are letting the head go down, and now we are also moving to Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. So step right on the top of your mat, reach your arms up, outer upper arms in, lengthen the spine, legs firm, go forward. If you need to bend your knees, do so. Spread the palms of your hand, see that your fingers are all evenly spread. Your weight is on the index finger and the thumb. Stretch your thumbs. You might see one now, thumb tends to bend. Stretch it. And then looking forward, big step back with your legs so you have a good distance. When you step your legs back, you allow this part to elongate. So see that. Press your index finger, bring your outer upper arms in, lift your upper arms, lift the inner shoulder, but roll that outer shoulder down and then move the shoulder blades in. Your head can go down, but don't drop your upper arms. Keep them firm. And now take your mind to your legs. Strongly pull your thighs to the hip. Move the outer hips back. We worked the outer hips back in previous poses. Try to stretch your bottom of the feet, moving the front of the knees to the back of the knees, and extend the calf muscle towards the heels. Take your mind to your inner legs, move them back so the thighs stay strong. You have to really get your legs working in this pose. Lift the elbows, lift the upper arms, outer shoulders down, shoulder blades in. Move the sacrum back, thighs back. Press both the palms, right and left, equally. Now slowly come down. Rest for a few moments. Now inhale and come up. Okay, so we are going to do Surya Namaskar. Yeah, so stand right on the top of the mat. Let's do 3 rounds. Bring your big toes close. Shift your weight back into the heels, shoulders back, elbows straight. Bring the palms of the hand at the center, Namaskarasana. I'm just going to call out the name of the pose and we are going to do it. Arms up, Urdhva Hastasana, Uttanasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Chaturanga Dandasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Look forward, you can jump, come forward, Uttanasana, Urdhva Hastasana, Namaskarasana, Tarasana, Namaskarasana, Urdhva Hastasana, Uttanasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Chaturanga Dandasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Jump or walk forward, Uttanasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Urdhva Hastasana, my mistake, Namaskarasana, Tarasana. Namaskarasana, Urdhva Hastasana, Uttanasana, Adho-Mukhasvanasana, Urdhva Mukhasvanasana, Chaturanga Dandasana, Urdhva Mukhasvanasana, Adho-Mukhasvanasana, Uttanasana, Urdhva Hastasana, Namaskarasana, Tarasana. Turn around, take a moment and reset yourself. Find your rhythm. Settle yourself simply in Tarasana. Now we are going to come down to Virasana. After having completed all the standing poses, a very active part of the sequence, we settle down on the floor. So you can grab a block if you need, or if you don't need, you can sit also free. So remember Virasana, we put the block, we come forward. You can bring your knees a little closer, bring the outer feet close to the block, place your hands behind the calf muscle, move it back, and then sit down. See that both your knees are pointing straight. Take your attention to the outer shin bones, draw them in, making sure that you are keeping the outer hips down, lifting the chest, and staying here, allowing the body to settle simply in Virasana for a few moments. And again, this movement where we are stretching, all this while we were using a lot of pulling. Remember we said pulling the thighs to the hip. So it's a kind of contraction here. But here the muscle is getting stretched and the hamstrings were getting stretched all this while. So I think what is also important to realize that in Iyengar Yoga, sequencing is a key portion of the study and the understanding of the practice. So after having done all those standing poses where we were pulling our quadriceps up and engaging and pulling this way, we go down to a seated pose. I mean, I could have sat in any position, right? But Gitaji chose Virasana as the seated pose so that you can stretch the quadriceps now. And our hamstrings were getting stretched with all the Uttanasana and all the Adho-Mukhasvanasana. And now we are actually contracting the hamstrings, right? So this becomes like a relief. So if there was any kind of unnecessary pulling, you're neutralizing yourself back into the center using this posture. So pressing the tops of the feet down, taking the outer shoulders down, upper arms in, lifting the chest, keeping your head back. Press the tops of the feet down, hug the outer shins in. So you can see how the outer shins are quite related here. Okay, so in posing, I don't do anything. Watch this. Now I just bring this outer shin bone in. Can you see this is happening? I didn't do this. I created this so there's a lift of the pelvis. So that lifts the front hip bones up and then your spine can stay stacked on it, not collapsing the weight of the upper body into the pelvis. Now let's do Parvatasana and Virasana. So stretch your arms, right thumb comes on top, turn the palms out, again bringing the outer upper arms in. We did all this in our standing way. Now we are doing the seated, outer upper arms in, stretch your elbows, stretch your armpits, looking forward, rolling the inner shoulders back, outer shoulders in, moving the upper arms back. Yeah, so lift the armpit chest, press the tops of the feet. Pull evenly out, both your right and left. Sometimes we pull more out, we twist. You have to create more intelligence in your body to be more even, on equal. Then bring your hands down, change. Left thumb comes on top, turning the palms out again, spreading through the palms, bringing your outer upper arms in, extending, going up. Once you're up, again, rolling that outer shoulder forward, inner shoulder goes down. Stretch your forearms, lift the side chest, lift the armpit, open the armpits by taking your arms behind your ears, moving the shoulder blades in. Don't puff your abdomen forward. Keep your abdomen back. Press the tops of the feet. Stretch the wrists away. Hug the outer upper arms in. Now slowly release and bring your hands down. We can continue in this position and do Gomukhasana. So, is it Gomukhasana? Sorry, my mistake. we are not in Gomukhasana. I had to refer to the sequence. It's quite long. It's 42 asanas. So I haven't built the capacity to remember them. So I do put up a list for myself, which is why sometimes I look off screen and you may think, who is she looking at? I'm just simply looking at the sequence so that I can be sure and keep to it and not do something random and my own thing, right? So we are just, so my next sequence is in the pose. From Virasana, we did Parvatasana and Virasana, and now we do Parigasana, okay? So we simply go to Parigasana. You practiced it last 2 sessions. I think we've already looked at Parigasana. You can take a blanket, and we can actually use the blanket later for Salamba Sirsasana, which is our next pose. So I place my blanket, and we are going to do Parigasana, which stretches both sides of the spine. So again, in a way, this is also a similar movement. So again, let's see how these 3 poses lead up to Sirsasana. Okay, so definitely the knees are back, the buttocks move in. So again, the quadriceps, the front hips flexors are stretched here. Then when you take your right leg out and you have your toes pointing up, or if you can get your feet down, you can do that too. So the thighs pull up like in all poses, and you compact your hips, you reach your arms out, rotate your upper arms, feeling that you're turning, so the armpit stays, lengthen the whole side. When the palm turns up, you stretch your armpit long and you go down, and then again, you roll the upper arm and you attempt to join the palms. Okay, so Parigasana is quite a distorted looking pose, and it's perhaps very difficult to get it completely, but we at least try. So we stretch, we turn, and we see that our arms stay. If you cannot go so low, stay more upright, stay with the hips, don't collapse your hips. Yeah, so you can stay upright, elongating your torso, lengthening, reaching, ribs in, arms extended. Stretch your whole left side. Now inhale and come up. Bring your hands down. Bring your foot in. Resetting yourself. Again, outer hips in. Take your left leg out, lining up your heel with your knee. This is the line. And then stretch your leg out. Again, drawing the thigh in. You can turn your foot, you can place it. If you don't have ankle mobility, you can also keep your foot this way. But generally, the outer hips have to move in. And then once you've got the outer hips in, press into this foot. You can't see it, but don't let the ankle come out. You have to move the shin bone in, stretch your shin bone long, maintain it, stretch your arms, pressing into the left foot, turn from the left pelvis to the right, lengthen the left waistline long. Turn your palm. Sorry, I didn't turn my upper arm. So we go stretching as we slide our torso long into the leg. Try to touch your hands if you can as you extend. Again, your pelvis turns, your chest turns, and you touch the palms and create stretch of the spine. Parigasana. Now use the top arm. Inhale and come up. Bring your hands on the hip and come back to neutral. Sirsasana. So again, if you're not doing Sirsasana, you can just be here, perhaps repeat Parvatasana, getting the outer shoulders in, upper arms in, or you can just watch, learn, and if you are doing Sirsasana, then you can start. You can also do Urdhva Mukha if you don't do Sirsasana, which is this one. Yeah, so you can stay in Urdhva Mukha a few times, lifting the shoulders, getting your arms strong, thighs tight. If you're going to do Sirsasana, then let's get ready. I show you the side view. If you're able to come up, if you need the wall, you can go to the wall. You've also seen how to do that. So interlacing your hands, bring your elbows down, extend your forearms, and place the crown of your head down. Pressing the forearms down, bring your outer arms in and press your inner elbow down. Yeah, so if I press this inside of the elbow, this stays lifted. Otherwise, this drops. So you want to see that your shoulders don't drop. Your head is going down, but your shoulders have to lift. Again, digging the inner elbows in, outer elbows, and then you come up. And then you walk. You can take one leg up at a time or knees bent and go up. Once you're here in the pose, again, stretch your forearms, take your frontal thighs back. Here it's a bit like Virasana. Yeah? Sometimes we can bend our legs to see that the buttock moved in. And then keeping the buttock in, you take your legs back. And you stretch your legs, not dumping into the lower back like this. Tailbone up, stretching the legs, thighs back, inner elbows down, outer elbows in, front ribs back, and keep stretching your legs long. Stretch. Move the front bottom ribs to the back ribs to the front ribs. Sometimes we have a tendency to lean on one side. The way to understand is take your mind to your wrist. If one wrist is coming down, you have to press it strongly. You have to bring your elbows closer and the inner elbows, keeping them down. Again, stretch your right inner leg, left inner leg long, knees tight, moving the front of the knees to the back of the knees. Spread the back of the thighs. Again, when we start, we don't stay too long. You can be on the wall, and then let's come down. Right leg down, left leg down, and rest. Now slowly come up. And then from here, we are going to go for Bharadvajasana on the chair. So let's get the chair. So there are many ways to do this pose. I will show you the way where we take our legs through. Yeah, so sit in such a way so if you have a yoga chair, the right side of your body is facing the screen, right? So I step into the chair. Yeah, so I am here and I sit up. I use the support here, lift the chest, moving the back ribs in, keeping my legs firm. So one part of the pose, when we don't hold the back, because in Bharadvajasana, the arms hold like this, right? So you have the option one, you can take your right rolling. Yeah, so this back armpit rolls, this moves in, and then you take your arm back. So learn to take the shoulder back. You can take your arms back more and more. If your shoulder head is rolling forward, you can see how the back ribs are moving in. So you have to roll, back armpit, shoulder back, upper arm fine, and then you grab. Yeah, you can bend your elbow if it needs to be. And then you can hold here again. Take that shoulder back, move the back ribs in, and now revolve your chest. Don't let this hip go back. So the pelvis is facing forward. It's a bit like Parivrita. You make your abdomen turn, your chest turn. Don't let the chest go back. Bring the outer upper arms in. Roll that right shoulder head back. Move the right shoulder blade in. Lift the sternum and turn your abdomen, turn your chest. There's a tendency of this. Adjust your arms to lift. Use the hands to turn. Now, supposing you have enough mobility on the shoulders, see if you can grab the back part of the chair. So this will help you to bring the upper arms in, the back ribs in, roll the shoulders more. So the arm comes closer as opposed to out and lets you turn better. Keep both sides of the waistline long. Move your right knee forward from the hip to the knee. Turn your left side forward. Then if you can, look back. If your neck hurts, look forward. Now come back to the center. I turn the chair so that way we can keep looking at ourselves, and you can also do that. And we can do Bharadvajasana on the chair. So step through. Sitting, joining your feet, outer hips in, lifting the chest. Now we are turning to the left, so you take your left, roll that back armpit, So this shoulder blade moves in, shoulder goes back. You can do this movement a few times and then grab the back of the chair. Again, as you hold here, don't let the shoulder head come forward. This is the lift up, lift the kidneys up, move the back kidney in, shoulders back, moving the shoulder blade in, abdomen back. Yeah, don't puff from here. This is lumbar work. It's the rib cage that has to turn. Use your hands. Again, spread your collarbones, bring the upper arms in, moving the back ribs in, turn. Turning your abdomen, turning your chest. Again, the shoulder moves down. Upper arms in, shoulder blades in. Move the shoulder blades in. Squeeze the legs. Watch your left hip's tendency to go back. Then we are turning from the pelvis. I have to reset. So I can turn my chest, moving the left hip in the direction of the knee, resisting the counter movement. Lift the sternum, turn, turn. The back ribs are tight. We have to create movement. So again, you take your hand, you hold, bring your upper arm in, and then revolve your chest, getting this connection. If you can, look back or you look forward, but turn your chest. Hip forward. Now release. Yeah, that's quite deep work on the back body for sure. Okay, so after we've moved all those areas in, we are going to go down to the floor, and this back rib action is there in Dandasana, right? So let's move the chair out. We've created that connection. We are moving on to the seated poses. So let's start in Dandasana. Join your big toes. Take your attention to your outer legs. Draw the outer thighs in, outer hips in. Focus on pressing the middle of the thigh down. So the hamstrings are tight, so you work on pressing down, but you have to squeeze the legs in to get the outer hips in, and then we learn to lift the buttocks up. The more you stretch your inner legs, so you don't get pulled back. So stretch your inner legs long, relax your toes a little bit, but strongly press down, stretching your lower leg. Place your hands on the side of the hips. Take the outer shoulders back. Remember all this back armpit turning work we've been doing. Turning the back armpit forward, outer shoulders back, moving the shoulder blades into the back, lifting the chest, head back, looking up. So this action of moving the back ribs in, the lifting of the sides of the chest. So you're elongating both sides of the torso. And of course, there are tightness which holds us back. This is the efforting. Then from here, we are going to go for Upavista Konasana, right? So we first did Dandasana, and now we are going to go for Upavista Konasana. So I'm going to turn around the other way. So you can place your blanket a little bit back. So when you sit, your heels still remain on the mat. And that way you kind of can judge that, yes, my feet are in line, right? Sometimes one foot can be here, the other foot can be here. So, but if you have the guidance of the edge of the mat, you can line your feet up and you can start here. Then you can progressively move forward if you want to open your hips. But it's always nice to start at a point where you have a better connection with your legs. So your knees should be facing up. Both your inner knees, outer knees are going down. The inner legs, the outer legs are going down. Take your attention to this ankle, press it down as best as you can. Place your hands on the side of the body, toes pointing up. Stretch your inner legs long, descending the thighs down, lifting the pelvis up, lifting the chest up, shoulders back. Look straight. We kind of have to work on Upavista Konasana, pressing the thighs down, stretching the calf muscle, relax the feet. Don't be too hard on the base, wall mount of the foot. Keep pressing your inner thighs down, stretching your inner legs from the inner knees to the inner heels long. Now from Upavista Konasana, you can use a belt if you're unable to hold your toes. So I'll show you. You can place the foot, the belt around, so you can evenly lift up this way, right? So again, the thighs strongly descend down. You roll your upper arms, Move the shoulder blades in. So this is the action we are repeatedly learning. How not to round our back, how to lift the waistline, how to turn the back armpit forward, outer shoulders down, moving the shoulder blades in. Keep a strong connection. Push your foot into the belt. Lift your upper arm, side chest. Move the shoulders in. So this becomes Padangushta Upavista Konasana. Now, if you can, by any chance, grab your big toes, then you can, like we did in, I think you remember the pose, Padangushtasana. So you grab the big toes with your first two fingers, press down. Again, press the big toes into the fingers, pull yourself up, roll the upper arms, again, moving the back ribs in, lifting the upper arms, pressing the forearms down. Strongly press the thighs down, keep the weight on the center of the heel, don't fall forward, drawing the thighs into the hip, lifting the chest, lifting the sides of the body. So that's Padangushta Upavista Konasana. Now from here, we go to Baddha Konasana. So again, you can hold the back of your knee. This is a bit of the similar rotation. This is an external rotation of the thigh. So you move the inner knee back, support the back of your knee. If you have any knee problem and you can't bend the pose, don't do it, right? You have to look after yourself. Move the heels in, keep the space. If you also are very tight and you find your legs are higher, you do need to sit on, your knees are higher than your hip. Yeah, so if it's there, you need to sit higher, okay, so that the opening can happen. Now again, take the back of the leg, inner thigh, draw the feet in. You can place your hands behind you. As you press the feet into each other, focus your attention on moving the pelvis forward. Your shin bone and your thigh bone come close. Stretch from the ankle to the knee, from the groin to the knee, and use your hands to lift both sides of the torso, shoulders back. And we can a little bit tighter on one hip tends to drop. So the knee that is going down, it's not like you have to push it down more. Yeah, so we come more tilted. So you have to actually allow that outer hip to give you a bit more support so that you can let go of the other leg. So the point is to equalize, not just push your knees down, but to lengthen the thigh bones away from the pelvis so you create space. A lot of yoga is about creating space. You're going this way and back. So the pelvis is coming forward. Yeah, so don't just jam the knees down. Use your hands, lift the chest. Shins in, knees stretching. Now from Baddha Konasana, we go to Swastikasana. So it's after we've got a bit more openness of the hips. You can stretch your legs straight and you can take your right leg, when you take your knee back, you've done Janu Sirsasana, but this time when you take your knee back, you roll your thigh in and then you slip your foot underneath your thigh. And then you cross over and you let your feet slide underneath your knees so they give you a support and you sit up. Again, if you're a little bit looser like this, and it could be the hip tightness, you do have to sit higher so it allows your knees to go back and you're able to draw the outer hips in. Swastika is a bit more compact. It's not loose like this, yeah? So you can adjust. Again, these leg movements are not easy, especially if we do a lot of sitting on chairs. It gets time, but you'll be surprised that with consistent practice, how the pose can change. So again, our body is that way very adaptive. Stretch your legs. And again, taking the leg back, then you slip your foot under and you take the other leg across. Try to see if you can cross at the shin, move the buttocks away from the center, lift the chest and extending upward. So we are sitting in Swastikasana. Okay, now we go for, after some hip movements, Paschimottanasana. So Paschimottanasana is legs are straight and it's a
forward extension of the spine. So of course, standing forward extensions start with Uttanasana, Baddhanguliyasana, Prasarita, Padottanasana. And now the seated ones are much harder because of course we are quite tight here, hamstrings are tight, we tend to get pulled up. So instead of forcing yourself to go down, please focus on lifting. So if that means you stay up for a while and you wait for your hip to free up, you wait for your hamstrings to get elongated so you can go forward, it's totally okay to do that. Try your best not to round your back. Yeah. So let's start. Be in Dandasana, stretch your legs, take your arms to the side. Most important is you're stretching the sides of the body. Yeah, so lift the armpits, lift the upper arms. We've done a lot of Urdhva Hastasana work. Go forward, moving the back ribs in like in Bharadvajasana. Bring your hands here, or you can use a belt. Yeah. Roll the upper arms. Again, wherever it's shrinking, I cannot move this in if this part is tight. So I have to strongly lift my upper arm. So then I can move that back rib in. I have to see the tightness that is usually here. You have to lift this front spine up. So create a lift, and it's after the lift that you can go forward. The more you shorten and pull back, the neck gets hard and the pose is tense. So stay upright, going forward, lengthening side chest, armpit. Thighs down, inner legs long. Going forward from the pelvis. Now inhale and come up. Janu Sirsasana, right leg bends. Left leg straight. Reach your arms up. Move the knee back. Turn from the right hip to the left. Right side of the chest to the left. It's a bit like which pose? Paschimottanasana. Remember, we are turning our abdomen, chest, and we are layering our torso over our front leg. Here too, we are doing the same. Again, stay upright, moving the back ribs in, lifting the front ribs up, turning from the right to the left. If you can maintain it, go down. Don't let your elbows drop. So you have more stretch on the armpit. Be strong and straight on the straight leg. Stretch your legs long. Inhale and come up. Janu Sirsasana on the left side. Bend your left leg. Again, like in Baddha Konasana, teaching your knee to go back. Your foot stays close to the left inner groin. Don't slip your foot underneath your right thigh. So then, you know, if the foot is like this, I can't push it down. Yeah, so please make sure your foot is not underneath. Relax the foot. Press your thigh. See that your outer right shin is in. Reach up, stretch up, turn from the left side of the waistline to the right. Keep extending your right leg. Go forward, hold the foot. Again, moving the dorsal spine in. This is most important. We are quite tight here, so lift up. That's where the diaphragm is. That's what needs to free up. Lift the side chest. Stay here if you need to, just looking down, or go forward. Elongating both sides of the torso. Keep your elbows up. Press your right inner heel down. Legs straight. Janu Sirsasana on the left side. Inhale and come up. Again, when we are beginning, we don't stay too long in the pose. We keep doing. So that starts to make the body more mobile. Now from here, we go for Trianga Mukha Paschimottanasana. So you can use your blanket. You can use as much height you need. I'm going to make my blanket a little bit thicker so my pelvis is not tilted to one side. So I'll show both sides. So I move both the sitting bones should be on the surface, right? You don't want one lower than the other. When you bend your right leg in Virasana, so you have to see for yourself what height do you need so that your whole shin bone goes down, your outer hip moves in, and you press your hip down. If you need to sit higher, please do so. If you have any knee issue and you cannot bend your leg like this, simply repeat Janu Sirsasana again, right? So you have a choice. So now I go for Trianga Mukha Pada. So this stays. stay more on the outer edge of your right hip and the inner edge of your left thigh. Now stay up, moving that right outer hip in and down, reach up. This is more even in that sense. The pelvis is more even. When you feel yourself falling, you have to bring that right outer hip down and go forward from the pelvis. Like Janu Sirsasana, elbows up, stretch your armpits, look down. Keep stretching your left inner leg. Press the top of your right foot down. Inhale and come up. I turn the other side so you can see my foot again. Or you can just stay. This is just for your visual reference. Rolling the calf flesh out, tops of the feet pressing. Again, if you find there's any tension in the knee, the ankle, your foot is twisting, you have to sit higher so that you can bring the shin in. Don't sit on the foot. You can see how my foot is outside the outer hip. The ankle moves in, so don't push it out. In, right? Press the top of the little toe. Now here we have to keep the weight on the outer hip. Keep your weight on the inner leg. Reach your arms up. Stretch up like in Urdhva Hastasana. Reach forward, head up. First you can stay in concave back and then you can go down. Lengthen both sides. Stretching your right side, left side. There's a tendency to kind of fall over to one side. See that your hips are level. Roll the ribs and you come forward. Stay in the midline. And now inhale and come up. Okay. Now we are going to do Marichyasana 1. We haven't done Marichyasana yet. So it's continuing the extensions of the spinal column. So same way, when you're seated now, you can sit a little bit higher in Marichyasana. So I'm going to take another blanket actually because it gives a better lift. Yeah, so I sit a little bit higher. And though it's still a forward extension, but I just want to show you. When you bring your right leg in, you bring the right foot as close to the sitting bone as possible, right? So again, you bring your shin back and you bring your chest forward. So there's a connection here. Then from here, we reach our arms up. Allow your right knee to go a little bit out. It's a bit like what we did in the Paravrita. We let our knee go out so we can, or we actually pulled it in, sorry. So here we move it out so that we can turn from the right to the left. Reach your arms up. Your right knee goes back. You elongate your torso and grab the foot. So again, you lift up, stretch up, bring the knee into the arm. Here, there is a spreading of the ribs, yeah? So from the center, you spread your ribs and you go down. So there's a spreading of the rib cage and elongating the torso as you look forward. Keep moving the knee, the thigh into the hip and lengthen the waistline. Keep a compactness going forward. Elbows up, head down. Marichyasana 1, where we are talking about a forward extension. It's not a twist. I lift my arms. I move that shoulders in and stretch forward. Upper arms up. And then down. Other side. Straightening your legs. Big toes connect. Thighs going down. Bending your left leg. Bring the foot in. Outer hips in. Keep both sides of the chest long. Reach your arms up. Grow tall. Move the knee out so you can already create that rotation. This rotation remains. Lengthen forward like you're trying to reach. Grab your feet. Lift up. Move the knee close. And at the same time, see that you are really spreading the back a little bit as you go forward. The shoulder shouldn't drop. It helps you round more. Look forward. Lift your upper arm. The more you stretch your armpit, the side chest gets longer. And at the same time, draw the thighs in. So the hips stay compacted and you can lengthen forward. Now release and come up. Okay, just stretch your legs in Dandasana for a few moments. And now we are going to go for Adho Mukha Paschimottanasana. So here we take our torso forward, going as much as possible. So again, don't force it. I'll turn the side view because then you can understand how the movement should be. I'll also give you a little support for your head so that is clear. So if I turn to the side, yeah, so I just adjust so you can see. So when you sit, your legs are wide, yeah, so your feet are wide, you're pressing down. Same thing, we grab the big toes. Now don't round your back to go down, yeah, this is not helpful. So you have to press down, you have to lift your pubic bone up, yeah, so don't drop it. Lift it up, lift the waistline, lift the chest. Pressing the thighs down, see that the knees are facing up, not rolling in. Outer hip sockets stay in and down, and then you go forward, yeah, as much as is possible. If you can go lower, yes, you can, but it's better to be grounded on the hips, lift up and look forward. Elbows can be wider. If you're able to go down from the chest, you can, but don't roll your hips forward. Outer hips in, back ribs in. It's an extension of your spine as you draw the outer feet in, elbows up, and go down from the chest. If your head can touch, you can touch, but keep the thighs tight, outer hips down, lengthening the hip forward. Please don't overstretch. It's okay to be here, yeah? You have to be conscious of your body, not force anything. Mindful, conscious, intelligent practice. Now inhale and come up. Okay, we do one more Paschimottanasana. So I just show you from the side. After you've done the extension, you reach your arms up, stretch up, legs firm, go forward from the pelvis, pushing your thighs, stretching your inner legs, and going down. Keep looking at your big toes. Keep the outer hips in, thighs down. Lengthen the torso, lifting the armpit chest, moving the shoulder blades in as you go down. Head down. Roll your thighs towards each other. Press your inner thighs down. Gaze more forward so your spine extends. Inhale and come up. Okay, now we are going to do a bit of Urdhva Baddhanguliyasana to settle the body before we head off to our usual set of inversions. You know, the cooling off phase of the class, and it's a very important thing to do all these inversions, which is Sarvangasana cycle. But let's do Urdhva Baddhanguliyasana first. So you can just be here on the floor and you can have a little bit of support for your back perhaps. So you can use a blanket lengthwise. And you can lay down, keeping your buttocks away. The sacrum stays down on the floor. You support the lumbar spine. You lift your head up. Take your arms out to the side. Bring your feet in. Moving the knees down. Staying in Urdhva Baddhanguliyasana. We've done quite a few poses, so take a couple of moments to rest, to calm the system before we head over to do our final set of poses, which is Sarvangasana, and winding down toward Shavasana. We simply recover our breath a little, let the nervous system calm down, let the heartbeat come back to more natural phase. Now slowly bring your knees in, bring your hands in one at a time, roll to the side and come up. And yes, you can pause the video again and set up your props and then start it and follow the sequence. End of our sequence, and you are setting yourself for Sarvangasana. You can use your belt, more or less measure from the inner outer shoulder to the outer shoulder, so you can have the buckle in, but you also want to see that it lets you keep your elbows in, right? So you can judge, you can throw the belt close to your upper arm and let it be there so that it's easy to hold. You can also use a shorter belt. I have a longer one, so I'm just holding it well. So I come down. Again, adjust your hair. See that your back of the neck, you can lift your head up, really seeing that your head goes down. You don't want too much of your neck on the blanket, actually. You just want this cervical, the base of your neck here. So this C7, more or less inside. And you want your outer shoulders rolling. So you can see there's a little gap so I don't slide off. So it's a good idea to even hold the mat end, pin the outer shoulders down, really press the upper arms down so you're better in this position. I also kept this bolster for my buttocks so it's easy. So my buttock can come in, I pull the legs in, and then I throw my legs back. I've also explained how to do it with a chair. So supposing you're a little tighter and you can't, you shouldn't do this, but you put your legs on the chair. So that helps you not to go down if your hamstrings are tight. I'm also holding the bolster a little bit today to really tuck my shoulders in and walk my legs so I can really lift this shoulder blade area. And we've worked a lot on the back ribs so we can become more intelligent here. Then we are going to take our belts. Yeah, so it's always a little tricky getting used to it. Don't tie yourself up like I'm doing that almost. So I slip my hands through again. I roll my upper arms. I stretch my forearms, strongly pressing the forearms down. Yeah, so it already moves the shoulders in. The shoulder blades move into the back. Stretch your forearms long, making your elbows go down. So I adjust my belt a little bit more. So I get my outer elbows down. Then I lift my back. Lifting the back, don't have your hands so low. Try to get it as low towards your shoulders as possible. And then move one leg in so you have a support. And then stretch the leg up. And as you stretch your leg up, your legs go up. At the beginning, it will not come so easy, but you just take your legs up as you can. And then stay. Again, we don't hold too long. You get used to holding Sarvangasana. Stretch your legs longer to lift your spine. If you collapse, you can see how this is causing stress. The weight of the body is falling on your head and you have to teach your body to lift away so that the head doesn't take the weight. Press your elbows. Stretch your knees. Stretch your heels. Learn to take your thighs back and bottom in. Lift this area. We worked a lot on these areas also in the previous pose. So slowly they're learning to lengthen, right? So at first they're kind of shrinking and tight, so which is why this happens. But as you keep stretching your legs, which we also do when we are in Dandasana,
this elongates the spine. So you have to really learn to stretch your legs, make them work to lengthen your spine. And this other hand, you have to press your elbows down, moving the shoulders in. Keeping the hands, moving the back in. Let's stay for at least a minute or two. Keep stretching your legs, knees straight. Stretch your calf muscle, your heels. Of course, you can come down if you find you cannot hold it any longer. Now keep stretching the legs. Slowly, with control, take your legs down to halasana. Now you can still keep the belt, so it helps you to lift the outer hips, inner thighs. Roll your pelvis more forward, so it lengthens the lower spine. Keep your thighs pulling into the hip. Lift your inner knees. You have to keep elongating your upper arm bones to learn to move these shoulder blades in. Now from here, spread your legs, Supta Konasana. Again, as you spread your legs, these outer hips, like we did Upavista Konasana, remember? I said draw these in, push them, lift them. Don't let them collapse. Lengthening. Keep your knees straight, stretch your heels, outer shins in, elbows pressing down. Now bring your legs close. Now you can take your belt off. And then slowly, vertebra by vertebra, pulling the knees close. You have a bolster, so your bottom shouldn't fall too much. Come down and just stay there for a few moments. Be quiet, let your head stay. Don't sit up, don't do anything. Just stay. Now, slowly, you can sit up and you can do Paschimottanasana as a finishing pose here itself. So, I can sit. I can actually have my legs against the wall. The distance is right. And I can just take my bolster, lengthening the torso, go down. You can adjust your bolster and stay quiet. Here, just let go, relax, don't work too hard in the pose. Let your whole body quieten. Forehead can rest on something. Spread your back. Breathe into the back ribs. Keep your legs straight. Now inhale and come up. And yes, now it's time for Shavasana. Okay, so you can again clear out your props and then take a moment in Shavasana. So again, once you've cleared out all your props, just position yourself nicely on the mat. Keep a blanket for the head. That way you can give yourself a nice long rest.
Sit with your knees bent. Use your hands. Lengthen the torso as you go down. And then adjust your blanket in such a way so when you lift your head up, you let the back crown of your head rest. You pull the blanket so it comes all the way to the shoulders. Again, readjust. See your head is centered, not tilting on one side. You can look up at the ceiling. Then you again roll the outer shoulders down, move the shoulder blades in, relax the palms of the hand, keep the fingers slightly curled in. Don't stretch them anymore. And then slide your legs out. Let the feet fall away. And then you can softly close your eyes. So after having done all that activity, it's time to go inwards. Relax the sense organs, the eyes, the ears, the mouth, the tongue. Let go of your arms from the shoulders, down the elbows to the wrist, both on the right side, the left side. Let go of your legs from the thighs to the knees to the feet. Again, to the right and the left. Relax your facial muscles. And let go completely onto the floor. Now slowly take another deep, long inhale and exhale. Bring your right hand, your left hand back on your belly. Bending your right knee, your left knee. Gently turning yourself to the right side. Stay quiet for a few moments. And then use your left hand, press into the floor. With an inhalation, come up. And sit for a moment. Bring your hands at the center of the chest. Normal inhale and exhale. Great. And namaste.